Pony Prepper Bill out here at Pakim Pond, taking a little trail around the lake. Not the big one. Just got to get out, get a little bit of exercise. I'm not looking at doing those 6 or 7 miles. Last year when I came here, we had that drought. It was like a little puddle out here. And we came back a couple months ago. Brought Buddy out here and he ran around. There was a little bit of water in here then, but now it's full. Pretty much full. I went out the other day to down by the shore. Went to walk out to, how's it called, Cedar Bonnet Island. It was supposed to be nice out, but the hurricane, we were getting the tail end of a hurricane. Now the water's still pretty low. A lot better than it was last year, but yeah, we were getting the tail end of that hurricane last week. I walked out there, the wind picked up. I don't know what I was thinking. It's not like there's any tree cover. You're walking out. I was making a video while I'm walking and talking. A couple clips I thought I could hear, and then when I put it on the computer, so that didn't work. And I pulled out of there, you know, out on the highway, had to go down to the next light and make a left to turn around to come home. Of course, I'm in the middle lane and people cut me off. I couldn't make a left. You know, it's straight or left. And I wasn't sure where I was going, but it got real dark. The sky was starting to drizzle. I'm like, yeah, let me get the hell out of here. I walked most of the trail, but there was a couple more that went off that I didn't get it finished. I didn't finish. It got too windy. And I ended up going down to the end of the highway to turn around. I think that was shit bottom. So I walked out, filmed a little bit of the ocean. But it was so freaking windy. And then it poured like crazy. I'm glad I got out of there when I did. Then my wife and I were out the other day, and there was we were going by this place I always wanted to try called Caddis Island Park or whatever. I looked it up. They got a bunch of different trails, and a couple of them might have been good for my wife and I to do. Well, I think we went on Saturday or Sunday. What a mistake. There's nowhere to park. Cars going in and out, in and out, in and out. Hundreds of people. I couldn't find a place to park, and I'm like, I'm not going to make a video. I can't even get out. We're going to walk a half a mile just to the nature center, which I think is closed because of a shutdown. Yeah, it's a lot. That should be water. Water should be all the way up to here. So yeah, we didn't even bother getting out. It took us like a half an hour just to get the hell out of the parking lot. And there was just cars coming and going, and I'm like, holy crap. So maybe a weekend is not the time to go there. Oh yeah, this bridge usually goes over water. No water in here.
Coming through. You know, that they added in without my approval.
Right.
They don't have my approval. Because I don't want to go there. You know, as simple as that. You know?
Yeah.
You know?
Well,
But
good
if
luck
they
with it.
told me that beforehand, I would say, well, forget about it. You know? But don't cash my check and then tell me I gotta go for a fucking inspection.
Right.
After I give them my bank card number, then they put it in there. They didn't put it in there before that. If they had put it in there before that, I would say, what's this? You know, and I would have said, no, forget about it, no sale. You know, I wouldn't have bought the vehicle. But they snuck it, they're putting it in after I pay them. And pissing me off.
Not good luck with it.
Yeah, I know.
Well, you can see the water is pretty low. The water should be up to that dock. That dock is usually in water. Yeah, all these docks at these cabins out here are falling apart, falling in the water. One of them was holes. You could, if you stepped on it, the whole thing was rocking. And last year, I mean, you see, there's still no water in here, barely. But last year there was almost no water. It was like a foot of water in the middle. Figure they would have fixed these then when you could get to it. I guess they're going to wait until you know, it's all nice and full, and then charge the the state more money because you got to get in the water. I mean, look at this. And don't you think now would be a good time to you think it's crooked as hell. But now would be a good time to fix it. Do you hear a high-pitched ringing? I'm walking between these two cabins and like I got a ringing in my head. I can hear like a ringing, but I don't know where it's coming from, but it's like a loud chirping or making me dizzy. I don't know what the hell that is. So I was walking that trail by myself. I walk around, I stop to take a picture, record that sign of the blueberry bush or whatever the hell it was. And I hear somebody talking, and I hear, coming through. And it's a guy by himself. Older guy. I get stuck in this conversation with this guy for a half an hour. At least a half an hour. He just bought a Hyundai, and the problems with the weather and the snow and everything. I couldn't get away from it. I'm trying to be polite, like, well, good luck with that, and maybe I'll see you around. And he kept going on and going on, and I kept going further and further and further. So I turned around, I kept walking. I turned around, went back the way I came from, the way he came from too. And I figured I'd let him get ahead of me. And I let him go a little bit, and I started to record a little bit, and then I turned around and went back to finish the way I was going. And I guess I caught up to him because I was coming around the bend on the lake, and I heard him talking. Now, he wasn't with anybody. He said he doesn't have a cell phone. He doesn't carry stuff like that. He don't like that stuff and the technology. He's got like an old flip phone that he keeps in the car. So he's not talking to anybody except himself, unless there's somebody there that I can't see. So I stop a little bit and I start recording a little bit. And I let him continue. I don't hear him anymore. Then I continue. I come out to the main road, the main little road there that the campground and stuff's on. But the trail continues another loop. When you cross the road, there's a park bench and it goes around, and it takes you down, further down towards the parking area where Pakim Pond is. I looked and I didn't see him down there, down the road, going towards the parking lot. So I figured I'd go that way because I figured he went straight. So I walk down, I don't see him in the wood, he's not coming down through the other trail. I get to my truck, I was going to finish this at the pavilion or whatever it is back there at Pakim Pond, but there were people there and people pulling up in the cars. I'm like, I'll shoot down here to the campground. I'm down here at the campground now. where that girl disappeared. So I'm pulling out of the parking lot, and as I'm coming here, I see him coming out of the trail that I was on, that he was ahead of me. He should have been way down. He should have been to the parking lot by the time I got there. And I saw him coming out where I was. How he got behind me, I don't know. Did he turn around and go back after I went down? So I slowed down, I waved, and he just gave me like this weird stare and watched me go by. And I'm like, it was just really creepy. Yeah, but I wanted to talk about being careful in the Pine Barrens or wherever you go. And the last video I did, I think it was the last video, I did that walk through the nature preserve, and I thought I was picking up blueberries, and people were telling me they're not blueberries. I ate one and it was hard as a rock. I spit it out. But people were commenting that it's a Virginia creeper. Is that right? Is that what it was? And I look it up. It's poison. It could kill you. So that could have been a problem. A year or year and a half ago, we were at that wildlife drive down by Brigantine, and there was a bush growing like little, they look like little apples or something, but they're not. I forget what it was. My wife knew, and she's like, oh, we could plant them at home and grow them. So I picked they're all over the ground, they're on the tree. So I picked some, and I heard something, and I looked down, and I see it looked like just white paper or wrapper, and I'm looking, and it was like 4 or 5 snake skins. And I'm telling my wife, like, hey, look at this, there's like snake skin. And I hear this rattle thing. What do you do when you see a rattlesnake? You probably shouldn't move, right? My reaction was, I look down, I hear the rattle, I look down, and I see this snake. I jump back. Well, it jumped, and to me, I think it hit my leg. It didn't bite me, it missed, I don't know. To me, it hit my leg, and I'm like, oh my God, oh my God. Dumb as shit. I didn't get bit. But my wife, like, what the fuck are you doing? So I told her. A couple of months ago, I guess probably about this time last year, we were out there driving around, and I forget what, I might have a picture of it somewhere, unless I deleted that with all the other files. But I got out of my truck to take pictures or film something, and I get out, walk around the truck, around the front of the truck, I'm taking pictures, and I'm walking by the back of my truck, and I come around the back of the truck to get back in, and I look down, there's something on the dirt road. It's a freaking snake. A rattlesnake. And I'm looking, I'm like, did I run that over? Well, I didn't see anything on the road. And I look down, and it's still, it's like frozen, waiting. I'm like, yeah. So I didn't want to drive and scare it. I think we moved it. I forget what the hell we did. But twice, I almost got hit by a rattlesnake. Not good. So be very cautious of your surroundings, and know what the hell you're eating before you shove something in your mouth. So that was my walk today, and getting dark in Piney Pepper Bill with nothing really to say.